Hello everybody, Nick Shades here. Apologize for the rush that this video is going to appear as, but in the previous video that I had posted, I was explaining the sump and the crack I had in the previous sump, and that I was rebuilding, making a new sump. Well, I had to do it much faster than I anticipated, and that sump is now in the system. So if you look down here, you'll kind of see that this bottom started to come apart, and I was noticing it in a small amount, but these pieces started to sheet off of the plywood I had right here. Now it's fine. I went ahead and, as I was changing it out, it was in pretty decent enough condition. I have 5 studs going that way. The tank doesn't even need the plywood. The plywood is not necessary. It's mostly for an aesthetic. Once I switch this 90-gallon tank out over to the 120 or the 100-gallon that I have, I'll probably either scratch this stand or finish the build, or who knows. But the most important thing is that this sump is now on and it's working. So now that it's in place, I can show you how it's designed. If you look at this chamber right here, this is where the drain from the overflow heads on down to a filter sock. In here, this is where I keep my media. I used to keep my media in a different chamber. I'll show you that in a minute. Now, this is a saltwater tank, so it has a protein skimmer. This is absolutely not necessary in a freshwater tank. What you can do is, instead of using a filter sock, you can do a trickle filter, which would be from here down to your drain, and then in this area you would have a dry setup, wet setup down here, bio balls, biomedia. In my tank I have my media bags, filter sock goes for, so the drain goes to filter sock, media bags, and then we have the ceramic noodles, the Spira. You know, these are the higher end ones, the ones that have the 50 times the normal filtration amount as you know, just regular ceramic noodles. They're the Marine Pure, the Murio Spira. So that's what I use those for. I've got my heater in here attached to a heater controller. Then to the protein skimmer, here is my refugium, which in my opinion is the reason to do a sump, because this is my refugium. Here is where I've got all of my macroalgae and all of my additional rocks, my copepod population. I had to completely, practically nuke my setup. I had a lot of mysid shrimp, and I have down here, you know, mineral mud, and then all of the substrates that were in the previous sump. I was able to mostly get everything over there. The only thing I had to basically replace was the mineral mud. There was no way to pull everything out and fix it back up as new. So this is new mineral mud. You can see some of my microfauna, copepods and whatnot. There's a star right there. You know, some basic Daphne, not Daphne, but copepods that are flying around in here. Hopefully the mysid shrimp will appear, but because the rest of the sump is completely clean, I can tell there are none over in this chamber, which is where they were all in the other. Now, in the previous sump that I had, this right here was where I kept my media bags. As I'm looking at the way that most media bags can be done, it's not really as necessary in this area. So instead, I've got an auto top-off that I just got all the final parts for, that I was planning to do first, but the way that I designed the auto top-off is that it'll be able to fit right in here. This is the level that I always want my water to stay at, which covers this return pump, which goes back to my tank. So that being said, this is how the sump is designed. Of course, I've got tons of excess silicone here, but that doesn't matter. That being said, hope this is a little bit more informative, and I'm going to show in the next video all the damage that was found in my other previous sump. And then I'll try and get a little bit better details on this whole sump as well. But thank you for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to ask either in the thread or on the comments below. Thank you so much.